You know, every once in a while, my viewers give me great ideas for content. And such a great idea came from the nimble typing fingers of Gretchen Thunberg of Scotland. And they say, why don't you go back to Snuffs you reviewed early in the history of this channel? Maybe you'll discover something new. And I, of course, after running this channel for about 10 years, uh, I have learned a lot about snuff, and I thought, well, that's a great idea there, Gretchen. I think I will do that. And then, of course, like many good ideas, it promptly got put on the back burner because I was getting busy with the contest announcement videos and very excited to review the Gadsden Mill snuffs. Plus, I had to place that order with Mr. Snuff because I'm going to take one for the team with a few different Snuff brand snuffs, including, I think it was, I don't know, I don't remember if I ordered white cocaine, white crack, white blow, or white meth. Bad on you, Snuff. Bad, very bad. But I'm not going to go back there. And so I just forgot about it. But then today I was looking through my big steel locker full of pipe tobacco. It is an 8-foot tall, 4-foot wide, 2-foot deep industrial cabinet with shelves in it. And it is filled to the brim with decanted pipe tobacco, a lot of it purchased in bulk, cheaply, and then decanted. Some of the jars contain the remnants of tins that I opened to review or try and decided they might need more aging, or I wanted to decant them for later. But there's also an awful lot of unopened tins, some of them I think fairly rare. I've got a tin of Pelican, I think, going on 10 years old, and I've got a tin of McClellan's Aurora that I believe was packaged in 1994. So a lot of years on some of this pipe tobacco in there. But while I was rummaging around, I found a bunch of weird stuff, and one of the things I found was an old wooden box in which had been sold a gift wine a long time ago. And inside it were 9 cassettes in their boxes, a couple of phonograph record cleaning pads, including my precious disc washer that I can no longer replace. And I found this. And this is, according to the braille on the label, Freiborg and Treyer's Kendal Brown. Now, I did not go back and look at my earlier review of this. But if memory serves, I thought it was too soapy. And I didn't like it. I gave it a low review. I think I might have even put it in my Freiborg and Treyer, the winners and the losers, snuffs I will never buy again, etc. And I am now going to open this after 10 years of more or less casual storage. I mean, it was in a box with cassettes. I didn't even remember I had it. And now I found it today. Let's open this screw top container. Boy, I wish Wilson's, now packaging Freiborg and Treyer. I wish the Wilsons of Sherrill would return to this kind of snuff tin. Heavyweight metal. Very thick, very dense. Nice screw top lid. In this case, I think this one has a plastic liner in the lid as well. No, maybe not. And in the tin, it is smelling a lot less soapy than I remember it. Now, either the soap itself is toned down, that Lakeland essence that they put in tobaccos like these is toned down a little bit, or it's reacted well with the tobacco base and has therefore gone away. Pretty sure it didn't evaporate because this lid is tight. But for some reason, that Lakeland essence, that geranium bourbon, a little bit of attar of roses, a little bit of lavender. I believe there's also a tiny bit of heather in here and maybe wallflower. Yeah, the perfume is toned down a bunch. Let's see how the tobacco is. The grind is still perfectly fine. There's a tiny bit of clumping, but the clumps are very soft, and as I'm touching the surface of the tobacco, I'm actually breaking up whatever little clumps there are. I'm going to take a good pinch of this, and let's try it. Now remember, I have not sniffed from this tin of snuff for 10 years. And it hasn't been refrigerated, and it's just been in a cool, dark, dry place with a couple of cassettes and a couple of record cleaning pads. We'll see. Oh, it's adhering together so the moisture is still good. It's prilling up. Of course, the prill does not stay together. It is not intended to. It's nice and silky still. Let's give this a whiff. Cheers. I got snuff all over me. Okay, yeah, the Lakeland essence, that perfume is still there. The soapiness is still there. But it is toned down. Toned down in the tin, but more importantly, toned down in my nostrils. And what I'm smelling finally, after 10 years, underneath the perfume is a really good tobacco. Now, it may be, and I do not know the recipe or the formula for this snuff, but it may be that the tobacco base contains a little bit of Virginia. That would make sense from what I'm smelling because this tobacco, the base is sweeter than I remember, and that indicates that the sugars have been produced, that the Virginias have fermented a little bit. And it's got a little sweeter character than I remember. The floral essence is definitely still there. Again, it's toned down a bunch from what I remember, and the tobacco is truly spectacular. 10 years. None too careful with how I stored this, and it's still really good to sniff. On the squinty scale, after 10 years, where 1 would be disgusting and 5 would be delicious, well, I'd be very tempted to give this a 5 out of 5, but it is old snuff, so it gets a 4.5 out of 5, just because it has changed. This is not what, if you bought this snuff fresh, it would not smell this way. In fact, this is even smelling a little bit more like Old Paris than like Kendal Brown, which is weird. But it's very pleasant. So 4.5 out of 5. Nicotine is slightly above mid-range, but very satisfying. Kendal Brown, Freiborg, and Treyer. Wilsons of Sharrow, please return to using this kind of container for your F&T snuffs. I would pay the difference. I understand these containers are much more expensive than what you're currently using. But as a consumer, I would happily pay the difference, especially now that I realize that this container, even though I was careless, has kept this snuff very fresh and very sniffable after 10 years. From the dank basement, I'm Paul Schellbetter, your wicked Uncle Squinty. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I love to interact with you. I love the comments. I love the emails. You can always write me at unclesquinty@gmail.com. And I love your comments. Please do hit the like button. It's good for my fragile ego. And hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified of upcoming content. Now, as I understand it, the way the YouTube algorithm works is the more that people comment on my videos, the more interaction I have with my viewers, the more likes I get, the more likely it is that YouTube's algorithm will recommend these videos to anyone that does a generic search on YouTube for either snuff or tobacco. And more specifically, it will definitely launch to the top of the suggestions if you're looking for nasal snuff. So please do comment, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Don't forget the contest. It's very important. Again, there are 8 prizes. I've got something like 30 entries so far. There's about 4 days left for you to enter. The entry period closes at midnight United States Central Standard Time on the morning of November 7th, 2022. And the drawing will be held, a random drawing will be held from all of the entries on the 11th of November, 2022. 8 great prizes you could win. Very easy, free to win. The only rules are you got to be an adult subscriber of this channel. An adult means legal to purchase and use tobacco in the area where you live. In the United States, there are some areas, municipalities and so on, where they have raised the tobacco age to 21 from 18. What I'm saying is you've got to be legal in your area. If you've won a prize in the last 6 months, please give somebody else a chance. I will not allow you to win this one, so don't bother entering. 1 entry per subscriber, please. I appreciate that. And there's a bunch of other legal stuff that you can read if you're curious that is on the original giveaway announcement video I published 4 days ago. So take a look for that. It's called Give Me Free Stuff, the November 2022 giveaway. You can find that very easily. I'm sure you're smart enough. And you can enter the contest. Hang on a second. Wow! That sounded like the first two measures of the Oompa Loompa song from the first Willy Wonka movie. Oompa Loompa, Oompa Dee Doo. I've got another puzzle for you. Oompa Loompa, Loompa Dee Dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me. Snuff taking's fun when it goes up your nose, but it falls from your nostrils and dirties your clothes. It makes your fingers dirty and turn all brown. You need to wash your hands or people think you pick your butt. Oompa Loompa douche. That is what I am. I'm turning you loose.